Hello, listeners. Today is March 12th, and this is a Garden a Day with Maidenbrook Gardens. Thank you for listening. I absolutely adore hearing about people who took matters into their own hands. You might have heard the term guerrilla gardening, where an individual or a like minded group go into a deserted or neglected space, a space they don't own and don't have permission to be in, and plant a garden. Sometimes it's a large space like an empty city lot. Other times it's a tiny space like the area surrounding a street sign or a garbage bin. Either way, it's an effort to bring beauty and nature into an otherwise desolate space. Today's garden started as a guerrilla garden, one that began out of sadness and grief, but is now a protected space that will be available to visitors for generations to come. Today, we are exploring Wendy's secret garden in Sydney, Australia. Wendy's secret garden is so secret, there are no signs pointing the way to the garden or marking the entrance. But it's not so secret that no one knows where it is. Type it into Google Maps or just ask a passersby in Sydney and you'll get directions straight away. It's been called both a hidden gem and Sydney's worst kept secret. It's also been called a living work of art and a living tribute to life. In 1970, Brett and Wendy Whiteley purchased a white turreted Victorian on a hill in the Lavender Bay suburb of Sydney, Australia. Just below the house was land that had been filled in to make way for a new North Shore Railway line. But beyond the land was the harbour with magnificent views of the Sydney Opera House, the Harbour Bridge, and the Central Business District. Brett Whiteley was an accomplished painter, and many of his paintings depicted the views from the house. Brett, Wendy, and their only child, a daughter, Arkie, made the house their home for 20 years, when in 1992, Brett, by this time divorced from Wendy, died of a heroin overdose at age 53. Wendy, who had met Brett when she was only 15 and who was often cited as Brett's muse, fell into overwhelming grief. To bring a sense of order to her life, she began cleaning up the space below her house, the space between her house and the bay, the land owned by the railway. She would venture into the space, clean it, fall into bed exhausted at night, and then start the process all over again the next day. The railway owned the land but had not used it for many years. It had become a garbage heap of rotting mattresses, discarded bottles, rusty refrigerators, and just overall general rubbish. Like any worthy endeavor, Wendy tackled the mess one step at a time, and as she cleaned up the sloping garbage heap, she planted. She had no formal training, she just bought what she liked and worked out where it should go. In her own words, "It's a garden made by one woman, not by a committee or a council or a professional landscape designer." Wendy never asked the railway for permission. She just set herself to the task, and fortunately, no one stopped her. She found solace in the work, and the work intensified after her only child, her daughter Arkie, died in 2001 of cancer. For more than 3 decades, Wendy has been tending this secret garden, and today it is open to the public. 2 longtime gardeners hired by Wendy, Corrado Camulia, who met Wendy when he happened to be walking by the garden one day when she fell down the hill when pulling a weed, and Reuben Gardiol, the husband of Whiteley's housekeeper, are in charge of tending the garden. A group of dedicated volunteers assist in the garden's upkeep. The garden spans only about 1.5 acres, but its design maintains its secret and intimate reputation. Towering Moreton Bay figs and Port Jackson figs create a canopy providing shade, and a gentle breeze from the bay cools the summer heat. Zigzagging paths lead to secluded nooks and benches tucked away in inviting crannies. There are 12 terraced paths cut into the hillside. Tree branches double as handrails along the paths. Picnic tables beckon visitors to stay a while and are set apart in individual garden rooms that enhance the privacy and secrecy of Wendy's garden. The sweet perfume of jasmine and the vibrant pink fuchsias dazzle and delight. Parrots, kookaburras, and gulls flitter overhead. In 2016, Wendy's garden was a secret no more when the New South Wales government granted heritage protection to the home and Wendy's secret garden, allowing its protection from development for generations to come. The garden is listed on the National Trust of Australia Register, and a financial trust has been established to ensure its ongoing care. The garden is open 7 days a week and is free and open to the public. I love a happy ending. Thank you for listening today. I do hope you've enjoyed this episode. As a reminder, I release a new episode every single day. And could you do me a favor? If you've enjoyed this episode, could you leave me a 5-star review? And if you haven't done so already, I invite you to like, subscribe, or follow so you always get notified of the latest episode. I really do appreciate your support. It means a lot. And if all goes well, I'll be right back here tomorrow. See you then.